Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it. Well, sickness and disease is just a pain in the butt, right? Who likes it? Who wants to go through it? Nobody. The times that we're going through, the uncertainty of the world, and just everything that's going on in the world right now. Who really wants to go through all of that, right? It's weighing a lot on people. And when you have pressures, when you have crisis, when you have health issues, when you have pressures, right? Different situations that come into the world that put pressure on you guys, these things are amplifiers. Pressure will amplify what is in you. That pressure will squeeze on you, and what's on the inside of you will come on out, whether you like it or not. The thing about that is that it's not just going to amplify what's in you, right? It's definitely going to amplify what's in you. It's going to amplify if you're angry. It's going to amplify if you're really selfish, if you really love people, if you care about people. It's going to amplify the good and the bad of who you are, your characteristics. Are you a fighter? Do you quit? Are you a go-getter? Are you looking for people to take care of you, or are you one that will rise to the occasion and do what you got to do to take care of yourself and your family, right? Are you agreeable? Are you disagreeable? It's going to amplify your personality, your characteristic. Now I'm going to tell you, some of that stuff down in there that gets amplified might shock you sometimes, because there's some stuff in us we didn't know was in us, because the pressure has never been in the right place to bring it out of us, right? But then there's some stuff we all know that we got locked down in there, right? We try to keep it on lockdown, lock it down, lock it down, lock it down, right? So you put it in, it's kind of like trying to shut an overstuffed suitcase, and you're trying to sit on it, and you're trying to do all this stuff so you can lock it down. We got some stuff that we put down on lock that we don't want to expose. And pressure will put in life, crisis in life, going through health issues in life will put pressure on those trigger points to try to make some of that stuff you got locked down try to come out. And we don't want that to happen, because some of that stuff isn't really good. But there are some good things that can be amplified in our personality as well. But those pressure points don't just amplify, those stressors don't just amplify who you are. It amplifies a lot of things in your life, situations in your life, and the people around you, but just in all of your life in its totality. If you have financial issues, it's going to amplify it. It's going to make it known. It's going to put a spotlight on it and say, I got financial issues, right? It yells that out. If you have relationship issues, pressure, health issues, uncertainty, will amplify the issues that you have in your relationships, whether it's with a spouse, a significant other, a loved one, within parents, sibling groups, or even with your children. It is going to amplify the issues that are going on in your relationships. If you have other issues out there in the world, it's going to amplify whatever your issues are. If you're not a very good communicator, it's going to amplify that. It's going to show that. But I want to talk to you a little bit about when things start getting amplified in your life, things that you otherwise could cover up, kind of hide it so people couldn't see it, things that you were able to juggle and move around so it looked one way, but it wasn't really steady, that you were keeping a balancing act going on. And it can also amplify and show really how unstable you might have been in your life situations, in your health, in your finances, in your relationship, where you thought it might have been somewhere. but it was really on sinking sand. Well, you might have had this beautiful, home built up figuratively, right? But it was on sinking sand. It wasn't built up on a rock. You were in a secure place. You didn't have a secure foundation, and it can expose all of that, and it amplifies the situation and brings it about to your attention. I have to do medical things throughout the week, and one of the places where they do food bank distributions, they're using one of the corporations that I have to pass by because it has a very large lot, because food banks have been just overcrowded. So at certain times, I have to pass by this place, and it's just so, I'm grateful to see that people can get the help that they need, but then my heart goes out and I just have to pray, because there's a lot of people in these lines, you guys, and these cars are nice cars. It's not like you see somebody's, old hoopty lined up, where the hinges of the doors about to fall off. There are people who had or still do have good jobs, but they make too much money for the system to be able to help them. So they're pushed out of that, but yet they actually need help. You can need help no matter what financial or economic level that you're on. You are aware of that, right? More money, more problems, some people say. But you can make, I don't care if you make $10,000 a month. If your bills are $956, I'm sorry, not 900, $9,500 a month, you still broke. You still got issues, right? You can't, people are maxed out on every level. So there are people who are needing help. They have families they have to feed. There are families that have grandparents that are there, are people who are taking care of their siblings and their kids. There's a lot of situations. And so it makes my heart cry when I see people having to stand in these long lines and what they have to endure to get in there. Yeah, you might get some food, but if you're waiting in your car going through a slow line for an hour, you're using up all your gas. So it's hard to see people that juggle and struggle with that. So the things that we're going through right now is putting pressure on people's lives, and things are becoming exposed. Now, with that exposure can come a lot of embarrassment, but I'm here to tell you, don't be embarrassed. If you are having relational problems, deal with the relational problems that you have, okay? And don't feel embarrassed by it, because I'm going to tell you, there's nobody who's ever been in a relationship that ain't had a problem. Every relationship has had a strain in some kind of way. If that relationship has any depth or any quality to it, between parents and children, between siblings, right? Between husband and wife, between employer and employee, between co-workers, there comes a strain on it at all times. We all have relational issues. Some can hide it more than others. But if you are going through these times that we're all going through, if you have relational issues, it's going to come out. You might have been able at times to kind of float through it and make it seem like everything was good, but the hardcore issues are going to come out right now, because pressures is being put on those trigger points, on those pressure points. If you thought, you could look a certain way, live a certain way, and you might have a lot of money to do stuff because that credit card was helping you out and you was balancing that debt, things are going on in the world right now where you find that, like those people in the food bank line, they're not able to juggle it like they used to be able to juggle it. And where their feet, they can make it look like their life was steady, that unsteadiness and that juggling, them balls are dropped, and now you can see that, people really need help. Don't be embarrassed by that. That's called life. That's called the challenges and the changes of life. We all go through some type of struggle in life. No man is exempt. I don't care if you was born with 13 gold spoons in your mouth and you the richest of the wealthiest of the wealthy, and you was born into it and it's generational. It doesn't matter. We all have challenges. We all have strains in life, and we all have to go through them. So don't be embarrassed by them, but deal with it. Deal with the things that you have to deal with. Now, I'm going to give you my opinion on something, okay? If the pressures in life are putting pressures on your marriage, I wouldn't suggest this would be the time to get a divorce. Now, I'm not talking about abuse. I'm not talking about all of that. I'm talking about just having pressures, fussing and fighting. This ain't the time to be talking about I done fallen out of love. You guys, even the best of marriages had times where they didn't feel like they love somebody, but they hang in there. The feeling will come back. Love is more than just a feeling. It's an action, it's a loyalty, it's a commitment. So I wouldn't suggest people start breaking up and trying to get no divorce right now because they can't handle the pressure. There's a lot of people out there that are divorced that should still be together. It's not that they don't love each other. It's not that they don't, have that connection or whatever. They still should be married today, but they couldn't handle the pressures of life, the stresses of life, and they didn't have no stick to it. They don't know how to stick through some stuff and to push through some hard stuff together. Instead of turning on each other, y'all come together and turn against the things that are coming up against you. But I'm going to tell you something. It get cold sometimes at night, and I can turn on my heater. I got heaters. I got several units in my house that I can turn the heater on. But I also have the little portable heaters that I can put next to my bed and warm myself up if I want to get a little extra nudge, because sometimes I'm a little colder than other people in my home. But I have heating blankets. I have a lot of different ways. I got handheld heaters. I got all kind of ways that I can warm myself up. But I'm gonna tell you, I can warm this part up and the feet can be cold, or I can warm that up, then it's hard to breathe. But it's something about when my husband climbs in the bed next to me. That's another kind of warmth that I don't want to have to do without, right? You can think that you have all the things that you need to make it. And as a lot of women say, I can do bad all by myself. Well, maybe. But why would you want to do bad by yourself? Or why would you even want to do good by yourself? I'm telling you, life is easier when you got somebody to go through it with you. Ask a lot of them single moms out there who wish that they weren't doing this by themselves. It gets hard. You need somebody to balance you out. You need somebody to be able to talk to be able to understand you, to be able to just hold you sometimes. But a lot of it is you need somebody to help you to pull this hill, right? To tread this mountain. You need some help with it. This ain't the time. Life is hard right now. It's always got some hardship in it, but it's really hard right now for a lot of people. So this isn't the time to be like, you know what, I'm going to do it all by myself. Go ahead and do the hard work to figure out the problems and stick to it and ride through it, right? Some things, you guys, you just got to go through the hard stuff to get to the good stuff, right? It's going to be a struggle trying to figure out things. He got one way to do it, she got one way to do it, and then they both fighting over who did it. And if somebody messed up, guess what? You're going to mess up one day too. Forgive and stick to it. Stay with it, right? Until you get to the good part, until you get to the sweet part. I'm trying to tell you from life experience, it does get better. It may seem like it's taking forever, but one day y'all figure it out. Go ahead and figure it out together. This is not the time. My husband and I was driving home one day, and there was a teenage boy walking with his suitcase. His parents done put him out. Let me tell you something. I'm not putting my kids out. Ever, but definitely not like this, not right now at this time, unprepared in the world where there's a pandemic out there. Somebody got to humble themselves. It's going to be my kids before it's me, right? But you're going to humble yourself. That's what I told them. Is there any way you can humble yourself? Whatever you got to do, this is not the time for that. This is not the time to be dividing. Your number one asset is your family. Your number one asset is every person in that household, okay? This is not the time to be huffing and puffing and deciding, to act stupid or act crazy with your employers or with other things. You got to do what you got to do to keep yourself safe, keep yourself in a good place, right? But this is not the time to be destroying the things that you have in your life, okay? So the moral of all of this is whatever you need to deal with in your life, deal with it. Whether it's something you see personally about yourself that you like or don't like. It's like you don't like. You got to deal with it. Everybody finds that. The best thing to do is just humble yourself and say it is what it is. I don't like it. I don't want to be like this, but I'm going to set about a path to change who I am. You see your situations and things are going on and it's being exposed. You know what? Even people that might be trying to laugh at you and talk about you, they got the same kind of issues in their home. So dismiss it. Who cares about it? Do what you got to do. I'm going to tell you something. You can come out of this stronger, better, and on top. I'm trying to tell you from life experiences. I've been dealing with health issues for a long time. We've dealt with not having a place to stay, not having vehicles, not being able to get clothes, not being able to get food to eat. We've dealt with all of that, and we were laughed at by people that should have been pumping us up, right? And having to do it by yourself, no help from, extended family members. We've gone through all of that, you guys, but I am here to tell you that it gets better and you can make it through it. So hold on to what you have. Even if you don't see the value in it right now, it will prove itself to be valuable. Don't mess up your life in the middle of all that's going on. Everything in your life has value, and don't be embarrassed, because the same people that are laughing at you have those same type of issues in their life as well. Some can hide it better than others, and sometimes it's not hidden. You just can't see it because you're not in a position to be able to have that insight. So don't be ashamed. Deal with what you got to deal with and come out on top. I hope something in this was helpful for you. Remember, in all things, at all times, do you. Until next time, bye.